Hello comrades, my name is Fritz and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program New Horizons. Today we are taking Tombal Kerman to Duna, so without further ado, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition sequence start. We have liftoff. Okay, we're about to separate the first pair of boosters. These are going to go off with quite a bang, so watch this in 5, 4, 3. They are really running on fumes now, those two outer tanks. So we are go for external booster separation in a moment, and skipper engines take a while to go, but off they pop. The parachutes are out. And we have a clean separation. We've got 2 more boosters to go. These are going to go with a bigger one because I've fitted the KW rocketry ullage motors on them. Wow, that was quite something. And the ullage motors actually came off. That wasn't supposed to happen. I'm going to pitch all the way over because we are at 1 km per second. That's a fairly obvious benchmark, and you will notice that in comparison to my previous Kerbal Space Program series, for those of you who have been regular viewers, I do tend to get into orbit much faster. That is because, 1, with a combination of handy editing, and 2, because these KW rocketry engines are absolutely ginormous, and they have monumental power outputs in thousands of kilonewtons, which is far more than the biggest engine in the stock game, the mainsail, could ever manage. So, basically we have a lot of thrust. I'm going to go up to 74. And we have main engine cut off. We're spooling down that huge Maverick 5 from the KW rocketry mod. This is of course a modded Kerbal Space Program series, if you didn't know already or didn't notice. It does say in the title, by the way, just saying. We are at 1.3 kilometers per second, and we do have another kilometer per second to go through with this rocket stage. So I'm going to turn on the RCS and wait until we kind of burn through and end up near our apoapsis. We do have a lot of debris. This is not good. 1,300. We're going to start losing speed at a slower and slower rate because our orbit is nice and shallow, and I'm going to start burning slowly. Bring it up to about half throttle, see what that does. The classic Kerbal Space Program game music has started. And 1,400. We are looking good. Now, I have tried to record many times before this. Over the past month and a half or so, and things haven't gone well. We've had scrub launches, we've had all sorts of technical issues. I haven't been recording for a while actually, so I've had to kind of iron out all of those issues again. It was like starting from scratch, but yeah, that's all been cured. It's 1,700. We were burning out at this stage at about 1,200 with my previous iteration of this design. So we are well on our way to making good progress. Going to let the apoapsis coast a bit further towards us before we start to burn for the last time. I want to get to about 2 kilometers per second before I burn. Let's see how much delta V we have in this tank. 300, okay. We should just about get there. That's 2,000. Yes, excellent. And periapsis coming up. Minus 94 kilometers, so it's still obviously inside the planet. And we can see if we... well, basically, the lower our initial orbit, the more efficient our transfer. And it seems we're going to just about do it, so... circularizing. And make it so. Excellent. Right. I'm going to turn off the systems, and then what I'm actually going to do instead is jettison my rocket stage. I'm going to hit the spacebar to get rid of this stage, so... fantastic. We might have got some good screenshots off that. Excellent. Yeah, and that has deorbited itself. So we will get the money back from that, and yeah, we can save money and gain back some of what we lost from those two external boosters failing to drop off correctly. So we can ignite this nuclear engine, jettison those fairings. All the fuel is fully at our disposal, and we can start plotting our ejection trajectory off to Duna. Basically, we're working on a Duna orbit rendezvous principle, so this nuclear tug will drop off, this will go down to the surface, and then it will come back and we'll dock with this once again. I am going to leave the space tug pointed in a north-south orientation to avoid any kind of orbital tumble that occurs as the spacecraft tries to orient itself against the spin of the planet, which is usually an issue. I mean, I'm not entirely sure of the technicalities of the situation. You'll have to ask Scott Manley about that, the legendary Kerbal Space Program Let's Player. He doesn't do so much KSP, actually. He's moved into the EVE Online stuff, which is quite weird. Star Citizen. I'm sure they're all good games, but I miss the old KSP days of Scott Manley. Can I align my SAS with the maneuver node? Yes, I can. Now it's telling me that my burn is 25 seconds, although that might be because I just had... okay, so I need to burn... yeah, I'm going to start burning. I should have burnt 3 minutes beforehand, but obviously that's not the case because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, I will see you when we are ready to resume Kerbal space programming. Okay, we're back, and we've finished our trans-orbital injection burn, and we're sitting here in quite a peaceful environment. I've got the magnetometer extended so we can collect some scientific data, and I've turned on our power generation facilities. These solar panels are out, and as you can quite clearly see, we are on an escape trajectory out of Kerbin and onto the path of Duna's orbit. Speed is of the essence. Let's see where this takes us. Oh, okay, that's not good. Bring that up, and then... oh dear. Well, it actually seems that we don't really have... Duna is far too far out of position for us to do anything. That's a shame. Hold on. I guess if we time warp round a bit. Okay, that's annoying. Although on the upside we do get to see roughly how much delta V that will take. Okay, I'm gonna warp around until the planets are in position, and then I'll catch up with you guys in a moment. Okay, while I was doing that, I had time to, while time warping, draw the thumbnail out, and send it off for a second opinion via the magic of social networks. And I have finally also found a maneuver node, which is good. 957. No, sorry, I stumbled my words. Stumbled across those. That's not going well. Anyway, I'm slightly out of practice. 957.7 meters per second for our transfer burn out to Duna with an initial encounter of 20 million meters. It's not the best I've done. The best I've done is about 5. That was on my first attempt by some colossal fluke. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and time warp until we reach our node. I'm going to fold in my magnetometer boom because we don't actually need that. Like so. I'm going to use that on the surface of Duna. That's okay. Right-ho. Let's go ahead and time warp all the way across to our intersect. Now, I did notice that we are going to fling ourselves into quite a high apoapsis, which is interesting. I've never seen that before. It's usually quite a nice, narrow ellipse shape thing that swings out and then comes back round again, but not today. But let's not look back in anger. Let's just go forward and try and work out how to get there. 5 and then 1. Hit it. Let's go to Duna. Okay, through the magic of YouTube editing, we've got an encounter. So that is looking very good. 20 million meters. That's pretty much what we expected. And what we can probably do is go ahead and time warp further into the abyss of space until we hit Duna, or not literally hit Duna, arrive at Duna. Arrive in a dignified manner, and possibly fashionably late at that. What I do want to do is enable the biome map in the tracking station view, so that I can find out where the Duna highlands are, because part of our contract wants us to land on Duna's highlands and take some science data, and then we'll have to prepare accordingly by aligning our space tug in orbit at the correct attitude. Otherwise we'll be slightly screwed when we come back to rendezvous, so that is going to take a bit of forward thinking. Until then, we're just going to make sure we can get into a nice and stable orbit. Hopefully we won't have to do aero braking, because aero braking on Duna is far too unpredictable. This is looking good. Duna, I think, should be somewhere below us. Ah, there it is. Precisely below us, in fact. Pretty much. Can we see it from the command pod? Let's rotate the spacecraft. Where is our window? There's our window. There it is. That's really quite cool. Chatterer mod is working well, I have to say. We've got some pretty entertaining radio chatter going on. We've probably heard it before, because it does just scramble existing audio files up and whack them in place. I like to keep things in line like that. Looking good. Well, once we've inserted ourselves into a rather nice Duna orbit, then I'll catch up with you then. We can round off the episode. And kaplunk. Whoa. That was wholesomely unexpected. I am so high right now. Cocaine is fantastic. Anyway, I think the green bits are where we have to go. So this is where I leave you to my world of wacky mysteries and weirdness. My name is Fritz, and I will, of course, see you next time on Kerbal's space program, New Horizons.